My name is Thando. My surname is Mbulu. I am the general manager for the fresh produce market in Buffalo City. But I double up because I also have a responsibility of chairing all the fresh produce in the country. So I'll give a perspective as well from that angle as well. You might have heard last month that Johannesburg market, they've turned over R1 billion in October. Just in
Say that slowly. I don't think we hear that slowly.
I think I need to repeat that just last month, October, Johannesburg market has turned over R1 billion
in 1 month.
In 1 month.
And it's not even December.
Yeah, and I was talking to some of our guys here, CEOs, CEO, the chairman, the CEO, about how sometimes this industry is looked at as I call it a clandestine industry, in that nobody knows what's happening, and yet there's so much happening in terms of the rent value and the economic activity. And I think it's done deliberately. I don't think it's by mistake. It's done deliberately. But I think it's crucial for me to mention that in the Eastern Cape, we've got 3 markets that are government aligned. And then there's another one in King Williamstown that is a private market. But of course, then you'll have small pockets of markets around the country, Keiskamawuk and other places. But those that we can account for, there are 3. There's one in Tabeja, which I will talk partly about what they are doing in relation to the commodity that we're talking about today. And there is one in Buffalo City that I'm actually currently managing. I am with Mr. Thandi Chikwana, who was the former market master from the one in Umtata. I for some strange reasons, I've invited him over. I didn't poach him. I invited him over to come and work for us here in Buffalo City. But there's also one in Umtata that is struggling a bit, which I think we are trying to work ways of actually reviving it. So we've got those 3 markets that are operating in the Eastern Cape, and there's one that is a private one. Okay, just to talk about what we do, because most people have no clue about how we operate. I think someone has tried to explain on how I think the fresh produce markets operate. Just as a way of sharing that we are a price discovery platform, in that we are kind of like landlords, but we do more of that in terms of service that we offer. But when somebody looks at us, we are kind of managing the platform of trading for the farmers. And we're doing this, and I want to emphasize, we're doing this for the interest of the farmer. All what we do in the fresh produce market, our primary customer and our primary person is the farmer. But in the manner in which it has been structured is that we are not necessarily selling. People will always come to us, politicians, they will come to us and ask for fruit and veg and stuff, and they think that this is a municipal commodity. No, and we remind them that, no, this is not ours. This belongs to a farmer. But what the farmer does, the farmer then gives it to an agent, a market agent, that sells on behalf of the farmer. And it's important that what I'm going to explain, because at the end I will actually explain what are we doing to manage all this process. Then the market agent sells on behalf of the farmer. They, of course, get a 7%, 7.5%, and we as the facility, Buffalo City or any other market, get 5%. So the farmer parts with 12.5. Probably one might say 12.5 is a lot of money, but in our view is that it's nothing closer to a lot of money, because you're not involved in marketing, you're not involved in the storage, cold rooms, and all other things that will go with that. So if you look at 12.5 vis-a-vis, even with your time, you don't have to be there. You have to drop your stuff and go and do your thing. So it's a kind of an ideal environment for the farmer to focus on what he's good at farming, and allow people who are into sales to actually focus on sales. So that's basically the business model of the fresh produce market. Can you go through? Okay, what do we do? On top of everything, that's why it's important for the municipalities to, or government entities to be involved, because this thing is not not about selling. For us, it's about food security. Because people who are profit driven at times, they negate the fundamental elements of safety, and they want to sell at all costs because they want to get back their money, which is also very important. But for us, we need to make sure that whatever that is being sold at the fresh produce market, it is edible and it is good for human consumption. So we create that environment to make sure that we promote food security. But also we create a trading facility through a company called Freshmark, which is a service provider. And that's why at the press of a button, we can be able to tell you on a daily basis, which I think is very important, what I'm going to say, on a daily basis, how much money have we, for farmer X, have we sold for farmer X? There's one thing that acting CEO that we're not talking about, that is actually a plus for government and through the fresh produce markets. Government is known for not paying people on time. Government is known for paying people after 30 days or even beyond 30 days. But as government entity, we pay on a daily basis. Before 11 o'clock, after 11 o'clock, just now it was 11, and I look at my email, and there was transactions in terms of who must be paid what, and we release that money too. It must go to the farmer. So it's a plus that from a cash flow point of view, it's good for the farmer. The farmer now is able to have access to cash and be able to do other things. So we don't keep your money for 10 days, for 20 days. We pay you on a daily basis. So we've got a system that can be able, as we close the day, because it closes at 11, 11:30, we pay the farmers through the agencies. So I think that's very important to mention that. But also we're very key on the issue of transformation, and I'm very key on the issue of transformation, because traditionally this industry has been dominated by typically white males. And I've said this to the agencies. I went to their conference a couple of months ago, and I told them that it is not an ideal environment where you walk into our platforms and you can see who is actually selling, and you hardly have Black people at the floor level selling on behalf of the farmers. And this has everything to do with the history of our country, because the relationship between the market agencies and the farmer, it dates back, and it's a structural arrangement that we should actually find ways deliberately, a deliberate program, to break those barriers. And as market agencies, because we have authority to allow people to trade on our platform, so we then have to put up conditions for Black people to participate, but not only just Black people by virtue of being Black, but the criteria that we have spoken about, that those who are actually farmers, those who are actually into business, because I'm going to throw figures here, and people, when I throw those figures, they will ask themselves, how can they actually sell? Because they see the numbers. They must not be driven by numbers, but they must be driven by passion and the ability to actually to grow the crop. So I think that's what we are all about. But of course, we create revenue for Buffalo City so they can be able to fix potholes and other things. Okay. I'm far away from the figures, but basically what we have tried to do here is to show you the top 10 suppliers of potatoes in our fresh produce market. And you will realize that we hardly have, if we have one or two in the Eastern Cape, there are many. Yes, the top 10 is not coming from Eastern Cape. Yeah, that's why you might probably say one or two. Yeah. Otherwise, you know what that means in a true sense of the word. It then means that let's talk about it as Buffalo City. Buffalo City turns over $500 million per annum, right? So if 80% of our suppliers are not coming from Eastern Cape, it definitely means that there's capital flight. And now take into consideration what I've just told you, that we pay on a daily basis. that it means this money does not slip in the Eastern Cape.
Sure.
So I'm trying to draw this picture for you to understand. Yes, it's a beautiful picture, but it's not a beautiful picture. Because we're talking about amounts of monies that are not staying in the province. And I'm saying these are huge sums of monies that we're talking about. I mean, we've tried to, I've just deleted the turnovers from this information in terms of each individual company, just for purposes of the Bobby Act. But I'll share with you the bottom line. What is then the turnover of potato from the top 10? It could be more, but from the top 10. Okay, let's go for it.
Yes, sorry.
Okay.
If I just interrupt with the data.
Okay.
Of the top 10 that you've got there, 5 of them actually are from the northeastern, northwestern parts of Limpopo. That's a Botswana border.
Yeah. That is trying to rub salt in you. This gentleman is not a nice gentleman. I should invite people like this in our workshop.
There's another narrative.
And then you see where you take our money there.
So again, there's another narrative. The one narrative is about even in the Eastern Cape, we don't produce here, and then the money goes. And again, in my mind, I would have guessed KZN,
Maybe,
Western Cape, Free State, not Limpopo.
Yeah, but doesn't make anything better. Yeah, so yeah, you're right. I mean, that's how dire the situation is, you know. And then we've tried to put up some figures in 2021. The top 10, of course, we're talking about 62 million rand that we have just only on potato, and it's not all the commodities, and it's not the total sum of potatoes. We just sampled the top 10. So this 62 million rand, we can just mention it's not our money. You know, we're just there to consume. But I'm trying to respond then to Mr. January from PE. Yeah, when he was asking about the demand. So these are not bought to be consumed outside Eastern Cape. Yes. These are consumed they are bought to be consumed in the Eastern Cape. So if you're asking demand, there is the demand. So I'm answering Mr. January's question on what is the demand. And in 2022, we're talking about 64 million. And in 2023, we're talking about 86 million. You will probably notice that there is no correlation at some times. Maybe it might differ from potato, but let me mention it though, that there might be no correlation between tonnage versus turnover at times, because tonnage has not been doing, in terms of the mass production and what we receive, has not been good. It has been going down, but interestingly, turnover has been good. And that is a function of inflation. Yeah, and also inflation as well, because prices are actually, they're going up almost on a daily basis. So that's basically the picture that we want to draw. I think these are the areas that we top 10 areas that we source our potatoes, and you can also see there as well. I think there's only Ugi and Elliot that is probably closer to us, but all others are not coming from us. I think just to underscore the first slide that we spoke about. For the one, Mr. January again asked the same question. I'm also responding to his question that this is where we draw our potatoes. Okay, another slide. Okay, I think Potato South Africa has dealt with this issue. I don't know what they did. I mean, I did suspect that they will be actually dealing with these issues because that they are the experts. I'm dealing with money. That's why I was worried to stay here for long, because I have to go and sell potatoes. So we have an organization called Procon. We have a guy from Procon just at the back there. He is residing at the fresh produce market, but they work for the private organization called Procon. They do inspection of potato. But at the right time, maybe you can interact with him. He will tell you about some of the potatoes that get rejected by the markets because of various reasons that they would have cited. So I'm not going to dwell that. I'm not a specialist to that, but he will be able to speak to that. So I'm trying to say he's available. He can speak to those. Can you just quickly jump? That's his stuff. He's available to interact with us around that. Can you just go through again? That's him. That's him. He's telling us about all the wrong things about the potatoes. So okay. The key thing for me is the food hub concept that we have introduced. So responding to the issue that I've raised earlier on of the non-existent or little existence of commercial farmers or small commercial farmers in the Eastern Cape, we took a deliberate decision as a fresh produce market that we're going to establish something called a food hub. We spent around 5 million to build an infrastructure outside the market within our prescribed, but it is an infrastructure that is designed to attract the small-scale farmers. So the policy regime has changed in that. Remember, I spoke about 5% that we charge. In this time around, we're not going to charge that percentage to the small-scale farmers to allow them to be able to come back and also to spend that money to reinvest in their businesses. So this is the infrastructure that we are creating for them. We have also built a pack house that at any given point in time where you have a produce, don't think twice, don't think about where is the market. You know, fresh produce market can take your stuff. We have agreed with our big suppliers, our big buyers, to have an offtake agreement. So if you bring anything to us, we guarantee you that that thing will be bought and we will give you your money on the spot. And that's the deliberate action that we're taking as a fresh produce market to advance issues of transformation. Thank you very much.
So again, you can see as we tease this value chain,